And if we can just tell apart what did I just watch over the span of just not taking anybody seriously over the show. The only people that I actually liked was, I guess, McIntyre, Sheamus, and Lashley. We had Bad Bunny trading away his 24/7 title like a legit active championship, literally holding it literally the longest, and he comes around just giving it away for a lunchbox and a replica belt. Yeah, it's Nick on WWE in here, bro. It's dude. Braun looked like a chump. He looked like the biggest chump in the freaking show. I've I've seen some bad. I've seen bad segments involving Braun Strowman, especially his feud with uh John Morrison and The Miz, and that ended in such a joke over a handicap match for the title, and it didn't even exceed further than a month because they know how much of mid-card purgatory Morrison and Miz are. They even just ended segueing over a match because Strowman felt offended. Because you're richer than me doesn't mean you're smarter than me. It is so bad. That should be that should be illegal to even write stuff like that. Just to have a match over at Mania. They are so poorly built over making Mania feuds. They're making Styles in his little black his little freaking mountain, his own mountain from Game of Thrones Negro coming around tagging with them just for no reason to just face a New Day because they're babyface. So they just immediately make them drop the belts on Raw. This is so piss poor. It should be illegal to make stuff like this. They even opened the show with Lashley coming around, of course, saying that it's the almighty era. I don't mind this. It was a decent promo until Miz and Morrison came ruining it. Obviously, the segue that he needs another title match, not to take away from Lashley's dominance. Obviously, that I'm all for the Lashley era. It is I'm trying to get that he's trying to have a leech character. It just feels so bland because Miz is a decent heel, but he isn't the type to beat somebody literally in the ring unless he has outside help. He's that much over a mid carder. Yes, I know there's heels that cheat to win, but in any other wrestling match, they can beat a mid carder or some other top mid carders by themselves. You don't see that a lot. JBL, when he was WWE champion, he had the cabinet, but any other guy that went his past, clothesline from hell, beat him out. I swear he can beat Rey Mysterio one-on-one. And Rey Mysterio was a former world heavyweight champion. But bro, I think they opened the show with The Miz versus McIntyre, and it went absolutely nowhere. They had stress hold after stress hold, chin lock after chin lock. He almost won with the Skull Crushing finale. He got reversed. He hit him with a Claymore kick. Miz is that much of an afterthought after holding the belt for 10 days? CR21, I know you're a Miz fan, so if you can, comment down in the comment section below and tell me how long he held the belt. I know it's been for 2 weeks, but I want to say for days total, so I can just estimate it, bro. I'm just not feeling this. They had two belts on the line. Whenever you have two belts on the line on a Raw, that's supposed to be important. And it just felt so irrelevant. The tag team belts for the Hurt Business should be more important, and it just didn't feel that way. The Raw Women's title wasn't going to be on the line because Nia Jax has the SmackDown Women's title shot the next day after, I guess, getting the win on her last week on SmackDown. So she gets a SmackDown Women's title shot. So that just leaves Asuka as a complete afterthought. They had yet again the same match that they had 2 weeks prior. They had Lana and Naomi facing off against Mandy and Dana Brooke. So it shows that they have no trust in this women's tag division garbage concept when they don't even have that much women to begin with. And if they do, why not just make it non-brand split to actually bring more expansion to the division and actually get more women involved? You broke up the Iconics to just make Peyton Royce an absolute afterthought. Billy Kay is just a managing afterthought. There's not that many women that are even getting that much benefit from most of this. The Riot Squad and people are just complaining, oh, the brand split needs to say, no, it just makes it worse, especially when you try to implement more championships. Just is gonna make a certain division feel more diverted and freaking limited. I don't want that. So dumb, bro. Oh, I'm not even going for this in order. If anybody wants to know, Raw's not worth that. It's 3 hours of my time wasted. That's 3 hours of life wasted. I think I even had some audio troubles over the course of this Raw, and it was just complete sham. They kept advertising. I don't like whenever you advertise SmackDown because it just brings prevalence that okay, we need people to still watch our product, so we're just going to advertise what's supposedly supposed to be the rival brand. I understand that you have edges. You're still your remaining draw, but it just feels like, oh, there's no point. We're just gonna advertise SmackDown. Oh boy, bro, I just did not feel like Raw was doing anything good. Raw was not doing anything good. I'm not saying this. I'm not gonna say that most of the matches were bad. I thought the New Day and Hurt Business match was pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to doing a decent match but having a prevalent ending, you just feel like Benjamin and Cedric's reign was pretty lackluster, to be honest. They had no other guys to face other than the Lucha House Party and any other match stipulation you would think of. I think they had him in a tornado tag match the other time, and they squashed him as easy. Had finally Shelton and Cedric finally coexisting, and then they lose off like the 14th rematch on Raw against the New Day. Yeah, none of the title changes ever been on pay-per-view. And then I hear something about now Kofi Kingston has as many tag team title reigns as Edge. Oh, oh God, how many mid-card belts is this guy gonna hold over? And that's like here's the thing. Kofi has a Hall of Fame resume, but he's not like prestigious as like a Hall of Famer. You understand what I'm saying? Like Miz has a Hall of Fame resume, but nobody's gonna care about the Miz when he goes into the Hall of Fame. Like there's no nuance that these guys are doing. They have no main event level take, and other than these guys are good to be on TV, they're just not good enough to be like in the main event or like the face of any part of the company. I just don't know why. You don't build over new tag teams. You guys break them up in the foreground, and now just AJ Styles and Omos just gets a tag title shot out of nowhere. And guess what? Fastlane's this Sunday. I did not know that. Bro, I never knew. I knew it was a week from Sunday. Now this Sunday's Fastlane, but they've done a lackluster chance to build it up. Like, what's the big matches for this Sunday? I've only seen three advertised. I think we can count four if we want to think about Biggie facing Apollo for the Intercontinental Championship. Then we have the women's tag team titles involving Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and they just do this so they can be like, "Oh, we are facing each other, but we still cool with each other, so we make them tag." Is that same Mania cliche building off to have some forcible rivalry? I just don't like the way they structure that. If you have a tag women's division and you already have like most of them winning and losing matches, that just makes them a foreground afterthought. And then we have Sheamus and McIntyre. So they're having a match over at the E show. It's an E show. It's not even a D show or D show or a C show. It's a literal E show. Like if anybody can name me the top 5 moments from a Fastlane pay per view, I will dead ass give you $5 of my own money. I will cash app it. Oh my god. So Sheamus and McIntyre are gonna fight, and McIntyre even later in the show when he was issuing that he was going to watch Sheamus versus Lashley at the main event. And guess what? Like these matches get no benefit or anything. McIntyre already has a certified title shot for the world title come at Mania. Just in the earlier part of the show, he didn't even get to win a match against Sheamus. He doesn't even, after literally having a draw, no contest last week on Raw. It was a good match, but it ended in a no conclusion. No circumstances had ever. No authority figure. You have Shane just fighting Strowman all because he's retarded. For real, he really is stupid. And of course, we have freaking. It just is a brain buster, bro. It. So we're just having McIntyre and Sheamus just fighting the pay-per-view, all because they are longtime friends, and that's it. And it's based on the jealousy of him having the world title, right? So why not just make it like a 3 stages of hell match or a 3 stages of heck match, because how inconsistent they are in trying to target a demographic, and just let whoever wins gets a title shot against Lashley. But I know that they want to forcibly make it babyface because no one believes Sheamus is going to win over most of the matches they've had on Raw already. So he gets a title shot. So McIntyre just gets an automatic title shot. And I wonder if the excuse just comes over all because The Miz cashed in. The Miz. Oh, look at that. Remember WrestleMania 27? Remember WrestleMania 27? Dude, you weren't even the draw of the show. You were main eventing. It's the same thing with Chris Jericho back at Mania 18. Yes, nobody was ever talking about Chris Jericho headlining Mania 18. They were talking about when Hogan and The Rock were headlining the show, freaking having the biggest pop in Toronto, Canada back at Mania 18. I apologize if I'm raising my voice a bit too much, man, but dude, this is just the sake of like not making a good show, bro. I've seen my fair share of bad Raws. You guys can look it up, bro. But dude, Ollie and Riddle was solid. Okay. I didn't mind the show. I didn't mind the match, but like we already had Ollie over the stupid momentum still abusing his group. And he just comes over just losing cleanly. So it's already shown that he's a joke, and so is the rest of the faction. Miz should be champ. But here's the thing, CR, bro. Like, if you want to come in, we can discuss about this. Because you know how I am with differing opinions. And I don't think I know how to send a link to you. I've never done group chats over in StreamYard before, so if anybody can tell me, that would be good. But I'm just gonna think it's the invite icon. But by God, bro, Miz is just not going to be taken seriously as a world champion. Like, logically wise, he's already been losing clean over by mid-carders anyway, by Damian Priest. So if you have him losing cleanly over any other circumstances in the storyline, you have him getting squashed over in a lumberjack match. Then in the opening part of the show, he didn't even main event. What part of that is going to be taken legitimately that Miz is going to be a 3-time world champion? Plus, you already have like big hosses chasing the title, like Sheamus and McIntyre, possibly the Fiend in the future. Like, there's no space over for the Miz, bro. I would give it a 4 out of 10. Oh man, this show is just a complete piece of dumpster fire, bro. I've tried my best to be tolerable about what happens on Raw, and people just think, oh, it's a good show. Like, it had one good match. No, it didn't, bro. It had like literally one decent match. They think that we want to see Mandy Rose and freaking Dana Brooke tag against Baby. Why have Babyface tag against Babyface if they're not going to get a future title shot? And this match was even longer from before. The last time it ended so quickly, like under 5 minutes. And Nia and Shayna were just there for no reason. Other than, I guess, to scalp out the talent. Bro, there was sloppy spots over from Lana. The entrance was so bad, and people keep. Nah, bro. It's fun for me. But let's go back. The match involving Lana and Naomi against Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose was bad. It was bad. We also had Damian Priest squashing Jackson Riker after having like 15-minute matches with commercial breaks, no less, against Angel Garza for the last 2 weeks, squashing him up. And then he ends up having like a match under 10 minutes involving Jackson Riker. Like it ended with his rip-off Crossroads. He did the whole arrow pew thing. They gave a. I clearly hate wrestling. I don't understand what you mean by that, pal. Uh, is it because I don't like a bad show means I dislike wrestling? I don't think I get what you mean. Uh, but back into the show, bro. I don't know why. Like you have Jackson Riker that looks like a star, has a decent look. Don't know why he's being the bodyguard over of Elias. If Elias loses cleanly, and then you have the Miz now. Now he comes off a 2 week title reign, and he comes off losing. Now trying to jump Bad Bunny, so that I think they're still focusing on the Bad Bunny tag team match involving uh Damian Priest, John Morrison, and the Miz. So like he's completely transitioned back into the mid card. Good job. Good job. You guys disrespect the. I mean, it shouldn't be that much of a disrespect because he's facing off against a guy who just won a huge award for being, I think, one of the most accomplished. Yeah, I think it was highest rated Latin artist. So obviously, it's a big thing. Shane McMahon had this crap, like you treated Strowman like a complete joke. Oh my god. He got hit over with the camera after he kept trying to chase him like just a goose chase outside the ring, inside the ring. Then he got hit for camera. I don't think they called for the bell. He gave him another camera shot. Then he hits him on the table with an elbow drop, and then just hits him with slime for some reason. So what kind of Nickelodeon garbage is that? And I guess this is supposed to appoint Strowman as the babyface. This is the same man back in 2017 that tossed a freaking ambulance truck over with Roman Reigns in it. And now he's being as weak as the freaking. Oh, dude. Are you glad Raw is losing? I don't know, pal. I, I'm just losing my patience. That's all I'm losing, bro. Because I just feel like Raw's just not doing enough to even. We have 3 matches that I guess are built over on the pay per view, and we barely have much that were built over a year. Except, I guess, the Fiend coming back to face Randy, but it just doesn't feel that well developed. So he gets hit with the camera and hit with freaking Nickelodeon slime, hence the image. It's just so bad. Too stupid for this storyline. Strowman gets treated like a chump. Shane just outsmarts Strowman so easily, and it just looks so bad. There's also Alexa daring Orton to kick her. I don't know. Just this storyline already like lost its luster back in December, and now they're still continuing over the black substance in Orton's mouth. Orton's mouth. It's the same thing for Lana, except it was white for Lana, and that's about it. They also had the clone of Orton. Oh my god, there's better freaking supernatural storylines on TNA than stuff like this. Orton feels so lackluster just daring to like do something over to Alexa Bliss after literally nearly forcing her to be on fire. Dude, are you an angry Strowman? Well, because the shows are bad. You like if you can tell me a positive over in the show, I'll gladly go through it. But overall, the show was bad. The opening of the show was pretty decent. I liked the opening segments over with Lashley. McIntyre, Miz just like immediately gets squashed over McIntyre, then treated back over to the mid card just to feud with Bad Bunny, and it's like barely developed. And then you have Shayna losing to Asuka after the Cardona clutch, then curb stomp. I think it ended with a referee stoppage. Dude, I don't even know the development of what's going on with Asuka, bro. They're not doing a lot with Asuka. I'm disappointed. Asuka has too much skill to even still be just the afterthought. Charlotte's nowhere to be seen over on television. I Oh, do you not like wrestling? So I want to get this out the question real quick, dude. Uh, I do like wrestling. I don't like the direction that Raw's in at the point. If you don't get it, I I'm just not. Raw's just terrible, bro. But wait, home clip. I want to read this real quick. I agree. The show's full of crap. There are some things I haven't watched on Raw since November because it was boring and bad. I saw rather than ranting how about the show something you like. Do you? I'm not trying to hate. The show was bad, and if you stopped watching, the reason was because the show was bad. I don't get what you're trying to say. Like I need to be nice, all because it's a show. The financial benefit for Monday Night Raw is they still get money off people that watch it on free television. And I'm saying it's a bad show because it's a bad show. Like you have the choice of not watching me because of that. Oh wow, are you guys that upset that I say that the show that you guys don't even watch anymore? Because you said that you don't watch in November. Why? Why? I want to understand. And yet you want me to be a bit nicer. But God. So we also had our main event that was Sheamus versus Lashley in a non-title match with just McIntyre just doing I'm gonna be there for my world title match, and I'm gonna watch these two men kick each other's ass. There was a bit of taunting. Uh, there's a bit of taunting, decent back and forth. Like the match, I always like the big house matches going around. It was McIntyre and Sheamus that were having some pretty decent matches over the last couple weeks, and then Lashley just had a pretty decent match over with Sheamus. But I don't like the direction that they're having with Sheamus. Like, if you're going to still make him a prodigal part of the title feud, why not just let him have a title shot? Both of them have a title shot at Mania, or at least fight for a title shot if you're just going to have that fast lane. And you have McIntyre wasting our time with a 5-minute promo, and he wasn't even going to issue what the match stipulation was going to be if it was going to be that long. If it's going to be that long to begin with, I don't understand. That's like a huge plot point that I feel like the WWE missed on. It's just bad. I agree with Steve on this one, bro. Thanks for stopping by. The show was an absolute dumpster fire. Like we had too much over with Bad Bunny, but it didn't feel like they were telling much other than, oh, we want to see the Miz again. The storyline with freaking Strowman and Shane is a complete disgrace. Like there's been decent story feuds involving Shane McMahon, even when he won a belt, winning the European title, having decent feuds over with the Big Show, Test, Steve Blackman, and then we have this, where Strowman is a complete joke. He's coming around getting just slimed and then elbow dropped. Like Undertaker and Shane's feud was better than this. And at least we saw the moment when Shane hit him with an elbow drop on the Hell in a Cell. Big Strowman does not look like a badass. He is an absolute joke over most of this, like he was in his Universal title reign. Oh my god. I'm not liking what they're doing over with Riddle as well. Idiotic, dope, like weed head. Oh man, I just don't feel like they're doing this, man. Don't say it doing it for the content because you have 2 viewers. I never said anything about doing it for the content, pal. I never said anything about doing it for the content. I do this for me. And I've been doing this over for a weekly basis. And I didn't bitch about what not watching, even though the buddy over here, home of clips, said he wasn't watching it till November, since November, because it was bad. Oh man, just I wish the show would be a bit better, man, because it just give us the same repetitive matches. Nobody's looking good. The only people that looked like legit stars over most of the show was Lashley, McIntyre, and I guess nobody else. I guess Bad Bunny. They even addressed over his Grammy win. Congrats still. Yeah. But it just came around a bit upsetting when he just trades away the belt for literal merchandise. We understand the 24/7 title is a jobber belt, but they don't even do anything implementing the story involving the 24/7 title and The Miz. And I guess that would be a downgrade from winning the WWE title just under a month ago, but it just feels underwhelming. And that's practically most of the show. We do have news updating over delays of tickets over WrestleMania. I don't even know if they're still going to do over a crowd, even though they said that's going to be in the stadium. I don't even know how that's going to work. But like, if I'm rating the show of Raw, dude, it's a 4. It's a 4 out of 10. I don't know, man. I wish it could have been better. I just feel like there's not that much of a direction going on for Raw. Like, they have no overarming plots. Styles and Omos are just part of the tag title scene out of nowhere. They have like nothing going on for the Raw Women's division. Charlotte wasn't even over in the show, and I understand that she's going over personal issues. We understand Andrade already asked for his release, and I did over videos going for that. And Mania's in 2 to 3 weeks, and there is delaying tickets. That's not good. Yeah, but dude, I don't know what they're gonna do. It's already been lackluster built to begin with. I think they should just subdue it back to one day. I already did a video on that, and I just don't feel like it's. I don't even know how there's a delay over with tickets, and I guess it still has something to do with COVID or any other protocols going along. But mm, anybody has any thoughts on if Andrade should ask for his release? Because I know understanding people want Andrade to go over to AEW, and I don't even think that's also going to be the same issue because possibly Charlotte wants him to stay. Is crazy how Fastlane is a filler pay-per-view, focusing on Fastlane for me. I don't even know what's the reason for Fastlane. What is Fastlane? It's a fast track to WrestleMania. It's a fast track to wasting $10. It's a fast track to nothing. Oh my god. If anybody can name me top 10 moments in Fastlane, top 10 moments of Fastlane, I will pay money. I will pay money. Top 10 moments of Fastlane. Even What Culture, the Smark website itself, What Wrestle Talk, any other person that wastes their time in just wrestling, they don't even tell you the most memorable moments of Fastlane. That's how bad it is. What's AEW going to do with him? Dance with Miro? So I guess. I like this one. They can have a Let's Play chant. They can have a Let's Play channel or some garbage, bro. I don't know. Dude, I'm just trying to understand what's going to be going over on Mania because I feel like there's a lack of build because the only draw we can technically see over at Mania, and they are opposing that people want to watch this for 2 days, like waste a weekend to watch WrestleMania. So that's purely on the stat. If you want to see a total of possibly nearly 20 matches over the span of a weekend period, bro. And then they want us to waste over an pay-per-view over having you 2 big pay-per-view stipulation shows, and only one important match is going to like be advertised, and that's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman. And technically, I think many people already know that Roman's going to win. I'm just not understanding why it's so easy to do garbage like this, bro. Like, what else are you that interesting to see? And no show feels like, no match in Fastlane feels like it has any stakes at all. It really doesn't need to happen. They can literally just have most of these matches happen on a random episode of SmackDown or Raw. We already had Daniel already lose, and he already gets a title shot, all because he's wrestled the most in the span of 3 weeks. Even though Edge is the most accomplished, and he literally has a ticket to Mania. If they just did this a bit better over Daniel, literally just saying, "I feel like an afterthought," he's already just feeling like a forcible guy over in the main event. And I'm not trying to get flashbacks over to Mania 30, even though how many times people slob their knob over that pay-per-view, even though they can only remember like one thing from it. Oh, dude, it just feels trash. I'm trying to like understand what's the selling purpose. Like, I guess Fastlane is important because of the Peacock stream, but other than that, there's only one match that you're going to be compelled to see. I don't care if Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks win the tag team titles, because it doesn't bring any benefit, because Bianca Belair already gets a title shot. And we know that Sasha Banks is going to retain next week on SmackDown because the advertised tag match. And I hate Nia Jax anyway, bro. Why don't Mania have six to 5 matches like the recent pay-per-views? And why focus on filler matches when we could just go straight to the big ones? For big ones. Who cares about Omos and AJ versus New Day? I'm trying. Yes, man. It feels like we're finally getting over an understanding, man. Because I just feel like these are just filler matches on Raw. These are just filler matches on Raw on pay-per-view, and they don't feel like big pay-per-view matches. Like, no, like Omos has potential, but he's only been like the manager, like the big bodyguard over for Styles. And there's not even that much depth into why Styles even has a big dude like Omos even managing him. And then you just issue him over in a tag team match. There's already that much of a slim tag division that they literally have to make Styles like, I already faced The Undertaker. I'm already a former world champion. Let me just have the tag titles in that bucket list for some apparent reason. What? I understand what happened to the Viking Raiders, and and we already seen the New Day versus the Hurt Business many other times, but it just feels so forced. They're not going to do a unique stipulation involving the 24/7 title because everybody's a jobber and it wouldn't feel that unique. I guess the matches that I'm excited to see is going to be Lashley, McIntyre, and Edge and Roman. And I don't want it to feel like that. I want to feel like every match I'm gonna feel like, oh, I'm gonna watch this and I'm gonna remember it. Yet you're gonna make this a 2-day filler garbage fest, man. The advertising mania is the grandest stage of them all for 2 days. For 2 days, they devalued it. They devalued it, dude. They're giving them that match to Miss My Whole herself, Nia Jax. Oh my god, Miss My Whole myself. Oh, Ricochet and Nia Jax got something in common. They both shouted, but there's only one man. Oh my god, nobody even asked where the hell was Ricochet, Aleister Black, Nikki Cross, that technically has a story with Alexa, but by God, Carlos, Steve, Cinnamon, Dominic, Tilla, Kenny, Lennon, and the Elitist, Chidori, David aka DST. I'm watching. Oh, bet. I'll be waiting for Nightbot. Glitchy bastard. Dude, I just feel like this show is just missing something, man. They barely have that much over for the draw, and it's already going to be our first Mania without the Undertaker. That's also a huge blow. We don't have a special guest because last time we had Rob Gronkowski. The women's division is worse than last year. I guess we had something different because we at least had the NXT Women's title that was going to be defended, but that didn't even elevate the NXT Women's title, even though we let like Charlotte hold it for like what, a month or two. 24/7 title was pretty decent for a few months, and then it got boring because R-Truth won all the time. Yeah, people complain about the reign of terror for Triple H. R-Truth is the reign of terror for the 24/7 title, and technically the only reason why the 24/7 title exists, just so R-Truth can be funny. That's it. And most of the guys that even held like the first few months of the 24/7 title that was even held, they're either still in the mid card or released. Like, who was the first 24/7 champion? I think it was Robert Roode, and I was tagging with Dolph Ziggler. And now freaking EC3, that was with the dumbass red cup, now he's over in ROH. That's like back to doing freaking minimum wage jobs after being caught to do a corporate one. Like, Jesus. Dude. I'm trying to like understand the build for Mania, bro. We already have crap stuff going for AEW involving that little dud that happened back at Revolution, and now I'm supposed to. People are supposed to feel ecstatic because we're just under a month until Mania, and it just doesn't feel like we have that much build, even coming to our little pay-per-view. Like we have like 3 matches advertised for Mania. You remember Riddick Boss or something like that? Riddick Moss. It's Riddick Moss. Yeah, he did like one gimmick and he held the 21st. No, he held it for like I think a week. I think that was the longest it was held until R-Truth won it back. Riddick Moss, I think he's back on NXT. Austin Fury, remember when he was on Raw and he had some faction with Angel Garza and Andrade and Zelina Vega, and then that went absolutely nowhere until he was caught doing something illegal. I feel like this whole farming system with NXT is a complete failure. Dude, I just feel like it's complete failure. Yes, we all know some of the guys that are still on television, and majority of our roster even comes over to NXT. Well, what part of them has been a primordial draw or top guy? And even if they were like a former world champion, they're just going to go back to NXT anyway because they know that they do nothing else but wrestle. I'm sorry. Finn Balor? The guy was like what, a former world champion. He held it for like a day, and he's completely injury prone, has no charisma or character other than his stupid demon gimmick. And then he comes around coming back to NXT and thinking that the NXT titles is equal as the world's heavyweight championship. Only reason why people support gay EW is because it ain't WWE. And if they actually look at the product, they would think that WWE with different stages. No, it's like WCW light with no legitimacy. Like I can watch like 2000s WCW and I can still think, oh my god, I gotta still watch this dumpster fire. Nobody wants to watch AEW. AEW continues to write themselves over in a corner. And the AEW stands are just going to watch Dynamite and just think that it's going to be an elevative show because it's not WWE. I understand that majority of their fans are still salty over from the steel cage DQ finish, or just think, oh, the WWE just is missing not enough work rate. What? Wrestling shouldn't be always the forecourse of the show. This is why AEW won't elevate near over 900,000 viewers. Your biggest draw over that point of time was Shaquille O'Neal. And a child. People want storylines, interesting, cool characters, segments. They don't want to just forecoat Jurassic Express winning 12 tag team match every week. and just Cody just stealing all the pyrotechnics to make sure a death match doesn't feel like a death match. AEW freaking sucks. Anybody just thinks that AEW is better. Listen, I don't hate AEW, and I hope it does successfully. I really do. But by God, I just feel like they're just missing too much stuff to actually get somewhere. The more recent signings have been, I think they had some segment in a new show tonight called AEW Dark Elevation, where we had Paul White or slash Big Show be commentary with Tony Schiavone on Monday. And I don't even know if this is technically supposed to be its B show or that much of going to be a big draw. If you're going to stream it on your YouTube account, YouTube channel anyway, so it just makes it feel pointless. I mean, sure, it's accessible, I understand, but it doesn't feel that big if you're just your biggest draw is your commentary. What? Why the Big Show? Why isn't he like a manager or just a big muscle? Like you don't have to make him wrestle. God for sakes, don't make him wrestle, but just let him be like an enforcer or something. Like the biggest thing happening that I'm interested with is the MJF faction that we don't even know the name of. If they think Evolution will actually beat Raw in ratings, it can just it only had 25K views. That garbage ain't going anywhere. Impact gets more viewership like that. Freaking Impact Wrestling. They made, like, what, Rich Swann be a unified Impact Wrestling champion? Freaking Rich Swann? Like, Kim music video, put my wife in there, Rich Swann? AEW is gonna flop in half a decade. Just watch. I already talked about this over on the Swerve show, dude. They're gonna flop. They are such a sad sack. They think Sean Spears is freaking. Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. They stream it over on their YouTube. They have no way of advertising their show. They have NBA games, freaking NBA games, and they can't even draw amongst at least a 1.2. They are an embarrassment. They think that their draws are actually the guys that created AEW. They think Cody's a draw. They think the Young Bucks are a draw. Hangman at Adam Page is a draw. No, it's not. It's the guys you bring over from WWE because you know that you guys can actually make a decent show to actually advertise the guys you originally signed. Kenny Omega isn't the most desired guy you want to watch on the show, especially for outside guys. And when they do, they think it's silly because they're seeing guys kick out of 17 Canadian destroyers. If Impact gets more views than you, something is definitely wrong with your show. Oh man. Impact has its own problems. That's now just a glorified indie fed because how many times that we scope out talent at him. I think Taya Valkyrie's now gone. Taya Valkyrie is now gone. I swear, I think Sammy Callahan's gonna hit the bricks if some BS happens. Mark my words. The Good Brothers are possibly going to be all elite in under a month when they make Kenny beat Rich Swann come Rebellion. And they have so much mid-card talent, bro. When Moose leaves, I think everything's going to go bad. Moose, I don't want Moose to leave Impact, but I feel like he should. If he comes over to WWE, we'll make him like a star. He's already got an NFL player. He looks like a wrestler. He's not that bad over in the ring. Even though he's black and does a spear, I could still work with that. I can give him like the pounce and just make him a rip-off Monty Brown, but or Marcus Corvon. It's the same person. Don't get it twisted. It's the same person. But dude, I just feel like there's like no hope for some of these shows, and they still forcibly freaking. Oh man, what's up, Razor Chidori? What's going on, man? Shout out to Razor Chidori. Shout out to Home Clips. You actually have some really good comments. Oh man. At least Bad Bunny's enjoying his time with the WWE, but Shaq, oof, his face just saying it all. Shaq wants to make sure these midget losers it would have looked better if he pinned Cody other than just Jade Cargill taking the victory, but that's literally just to get Jade over. That I understand, but Shaq just doing like the Shaq attack or some bullshit like that and beats Cody clean, I would have laughed my ass off. I know that Cody is in the draw. Oh, dude. AEW is complete garbage. Raw was garbage. Get it in the bin. Yeah, Raw was terrible. It's a 4 out of 10. They don't know how to pull any viewership. They made like just McIntyre the prime contender after having a draw last week. They don't know how to structure their show well. Oh my god, terrible. They think they're gonna make a midget get over. They don't. Every midget they think get over. It's this crap accessibility garbage that I think it's not going well. What's up, elitist? Dude, this whole thing was asleep. This whole thing was asleep. Raw was garbage. I know Dynamite's gonna be garbage on Wednesday. I just feel like there's just not much to advance the show. And we'll have until May for Double or Nothing. And AEW is just going to just do nothing. Midget EW. Don't forget Dynamite and their dumbass video game that looks like freaking what do they call that new WWE game? Battleground? Oh my god. Dude, I know Evolution Evolution Elevation literally like declined the viewership, so the irony of that name is really, really potent. Oh my god. What was even the major draw of I'm gonna look it up. What was the card for Elevation? Oh my god. It started at 7. They had Skylar Moore get squashed by Big Swole. Diamante, that still doesn't have a contract, gets beaten by a chick named Lilia Gray. Abaddon should be released. By God, Abaddon should be released. Red Velvet loses to the real mean girl, Danny Jordan. Okay, that's a person I remember. Matt Seidel versus Matt and Mike Seidel against Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs. Wait, wasn't that guy from the NWA? Baron Black? Just a moment, I thought it was Baron Blade. And Barry Morales against Miro and Kip Sabian. Powerhouse Hobbs with Hook versus Brandon Cutler. So I know Brandon Cutler lost. And Max Caster versus Dante Martin from, I think, Top Flight. These are just jobber matches. These are jobber matches. Why would you air this over on Monday? And you only had like a sum of 25,000 viewers. You see the problem here? Oh, shit. Abaddon just looks like if the boogeyman, like, gave him... she gave the boogeyman sloppy toppy and the paint just molted on with the worms. And she ate too many of the worms. QT Marshall against Marco Cunt. Jesus. Real Mean Girl, wow, the writers are amazing. Oh my god, dude, they can't make names. They can't make names. Didn't they call, like, Lee Johnson Big Shotty? Ty Conti, please, they need to do something for Ty Conti. That girl looks too amazing to be wasting your time on B shows. Against Alicia Fox, Jungle Boy, and Jurassic Express versus Danny Limelight. What the Danny Limelight sounds like he sucks dick on the res. I'm being really serious. By 2025 to 2026, I think that he's safe to say that AEW is an indie company. It's already an indie company. Home of Clips, dude, it's already an indie company. It's a glorified indie fed with just regurgitated WWE talent. Except TNA, when TNA did it, at least they had more of an identity. At least they have more of an identity. I'd rather watch 2010 TNA, 2011 to 2014 TNA than current AEW. That sounds like a tall order, but I'd rather rewatch those episodes of Impact, where at least I know that even though it's crash television, dude, I'd rather watch that. Elevation isn't going against Raw. It was only for one night. It's going to be 1 hour. It was 1 hour, and dude, I went over a card that looked like it lasted for 2 weeks. And the main event was Riho versus Maki Ito. What's with Kenny Omega's fixation with Japanese chicks? These little these are little children. Why were they main eventing something that you want to go to outside fans? Especially on YouTube, where it's going to be more accessible because people watch YouTube more than free television. So I understand why. I was like, oh, this is a main event of a wrestling show? Oh, 2 little children are wrestling. Oh god, this is what happens when Kenny Omega's like lolicon fetish comes around and it bites him up the ass because he knows that he can't draw a show. Isn't he responsible for the women's division? Oh Jesus, how many matches did they had? What the is this? Like it, like this is like a 10-man tag full of nothings. They had Dean Alexander, Charlie Bravo, really, Brick Aldridge, David Ali against the Butcher and Blade with Bunny, and a Private Party with Matt Hardy. So it was a 10-man tag for absolutely nothing. This show was a 1 hour piece of just matches with nothing. And you air this off on a Monday for no reason, other than just have the Big Show on commentary. Just put him on a regular episode over with Dynamite because people know who the Big Show is. Why? Why not just have him as a guest commentator on the first hour and just end it with Shivani Excalibur and freaking JR at the second? That easy. They don't know how to transition. Why would you put this over in your B show? That devalues the guy you just signed. And Big Show comes around bitching about his own money. I don't understand. AW is trying to do stuff everything in only 1 hour and not a great plan. 2 hours, in my opinion, is perfect length for a wrestling show. 3 hours is way too long for a wrestling show. Well, yes, I agree. That's a great take, home clips. But here's the thing: WWE is already making as much revenue as they did making over a live Raw in 3 hours. Viewership makes up a lot, but so does ad revenue, and that ad revenue comes over those commercials. That's making WWE a lot of money, and stopping that is stopping money flowing. And I don't think we can do that for WWE. And I understand that sentiment, but it's obviously declining the quality. And for businesses like that now, it's quantity over quality, and that's subduing and that's pushing up more shit than shit that looks nice. I think many other shows understand that. WCW, I think, went over 3 hours as well. Back in the day, I think it was 1997. But I could still watch a full episode of Nitro. I can't watch a full episode of Raw. I want to, but I don't want to. But I have to. Because I like doing these reviews. If they didn't get the money, it will be back to 2 hours. True, that would also be over some disputes over with the channel. Because the same thing was, if you guys don't remember, it was back in 2001. SmackDown was on I think UBS or USN, and they wanted to shorten over to an hour. I think to share the XFL, but that'd be cutting off revenue over for SmackDown, so they had to disagree over with that deal. These are businesses, and even though we don't like it, Raw's going to keep 2 hours. And whatever deal they're going to have over with CBS after their deal with Fox is done, because, of course, with their Peacock streaming service, they are obviously not going to stay with Fox for long. So whatever the money goes, WWE has to go after. Even though how much we don't like the booking over with WWE, you got to say business-wise, they're the best thing going over with pro wrestling. It's the most profitable, but freaking media-wise, it's the most irrelevant. That sucks to say, but over what's going on, it's pro wrestling hasn't been as pro wrestling has been the most uncool as ever, and I hate to say that because obviously the many people that come in here, and of course many people that still watch it are somewhat fans. I just feel like it's getting ruined by the hardcore fans and just the mass monopoly of WWE, and we're just seeing this. And certain other shows just think that they can be better all because they can story. Ring of Honor, MLW. NXT is just expensive Ring of Honor. That's literally what I can tell. That's all I can tell you over what we have, and we have like 5 minutes remaining. Honestly, Raw should leave USA. USA isn't a huge network, and literally that's it. I wish they could, but where else they would go that would try to, air off Raw? And already doing as much money as they do over for USA, because I think they already have an expensive deal and are willing to re-sign. I don't know. I wish it would be like possibly Paramount, or if you guys remember more of Spike, they changed the name. I don't know why. If you didn't know, TNA, even Monday Night Raw, after Raw went back over to USA back in 05, TNA swooped that up later on. And yeah, they got an assload of revenue. Like, you think they didn't get stars off of literally just being good, Impact being good over those years? Yeah, that's Spike money. But yeah, literally, I don't think they're gonna do anything to put them back over to a different television network with the amount of revenue that they're getting over by the commercials and the deals they're having with the USA network. So I guess those are out of the question. Plus the money they're gonna make over with Peacock in the next month, this month. So I guess if it ain't broke, it can't be fixed, bro. I mean, it's if it ain't broke, you can't fix it. Back in the 80s and 90s, it was cool to talk about wrestling in school. Dude! Oh, man. I wish. I wish it would be cool to talk about wrestling. I can't. I'm over at college now, but you do have the fair share of old school fans and guys that used to watch wrestling. And the people that do, they'll be like, "Oh, I can't watch it anymore. It's too kiddish, or it's 3 hours, or it's boring." Dude, you can't get that anymore because you're seeing a lot of flying midgets, no charisma, no likability, no crossover ability, and they're just making sure the show just feels more decline. Every time talking about wrestling with friends in school, you just get just a bit shy. Sad how wrestling has fell off. Uh, a bit shoddy on the typing, but yeah, I understand. I understand, bro. I just wish wrestling was a bit more comfortable to talk about, especially with a big crowd. But you're gonna you're gonna hear a lot more people talk about freaking anime more than you do pro wrestling. I'm being really serious. I'm being really serious. When my friends mention wrestling, all they talk about is John Cena. Uh, I mean, we understand, and you're possibly one of those too. Cena, freaking, even though he was like one of the corniest ways people stopped watching wrestling, he's the only star of pro wrestling. He's currently over the current era that literally is a pop culture figure over in pro wrestling. The guy is an actor, looks like a star, can be a convincing talker, and whether you like it or not, he actually didn't have bad matches. And you can say, "Oh, he's been carried by Styles and Punk." He's he's still a legitimate star. He still wrestles over in the star. He's never an unsafe worker. He's one of the most prodigal guys you can have as the face of a company. And many people won't even bring that up because they want to be bitter because, oh, Cena was getting guys over. Cena was the only legitimate star you can account over other than, I guess, technically Batista and Orton. I'm not going to hate over Cena because I know how much he did over the company to still carry it on his back for 15 years. and still he was part of the Ruthless Aggression era, and he still has, one of the literally had the cooler gimmicks of that time. If he wasn't a legit star, Vince wouldn't choose him as the next guy. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You didn't take it like Vince didn't have options. Of course, if Cena wasn't the legit guy, it would be Batista by a long shot, or Orton. I guess even though he's not that big over as a star, I mean he's a great wrestler, but he's not that used as a star. But Batista would obviously be the next option. I'm just saying this because I'm also a Batista fan. But yeah, sad what Batista's doing to his face though, and then him shooting a shot on Dana Brooke. Like I'm not gonna say that's bottom of the barrel. I'm not saying Dana Brooke is ugly, but like there's hotter women than Dana Brooke. Ruthless Aggression just screams John Cena and Batista. Yeah, but we won't have guys like that because we don't even know what to call this freaking era. WWE is so inconsistent with the demographic; they don't know if they can keep it safe or sometimes have adult themes. And then it's just a full lot of we'll try to please everybody, but not actually making a decent structure for a show. Oh God, I wish there was actual good show of Raw. Like we'll have those ones that are decent, but the last ones that were decent that were 3 hours were back in 2014 to 15. If you're watching 2016 Raw to right now, you are literally holding a gun on your head. Other than that, that's all I have. This is a quite long episode review, longer than I expected, but such good comment section. I want to thank everybody that at least took their time, who were or are still here, that spent their time watching the review and listen to me waste their time listening to me ranting. Uh, geez, we have Fastlane to get ready for. If you guys are still interested, like, comment, subscribe. You'll see also my Dynamite content. That'll literally be more interesting than watching Dynamite. But that's it coming from me. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Razor Shidori, home of clips. Want to shout you out, man. You had some really good comments. Elitist to of course CR21. Yeah, man. Thanks, bro. Keep the love. That's it from me. I'm signing off. Thanks for watching.